into UGA week. This is the bye week. On the show today, we're talking mailbag questions. We're talking the Georgia Bulldogs' first 3 games of the season. We'll take a look at the Bulldogs under head football coach Kirby Smart. We'll take a look at a grade comparison. I'll take some calls on the back end. Remember, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, TikTok, X, and Instagram, Mr. Kyle Henderson. What's up? Charles up in here, man. Chris, Alex, Amanda, Max, William, Bama Mike, all first in line right here on Bama Football on YouTube. How's everybody feeling right now? You guys off to a good week? You guys off to a good start? Yeah, I'm feeling good. You know, it's always nice to come on here in the morning times and rap with you guys. It's something that I honestly don't get tired of. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me even during the bye week. Let me see if I could turn that. I'm trying to like adjust the brightness of this. Coming in a little bright. All right. I got my show lined up for you. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for rocking with me today right here on Bama Football on YouTube. That looks a little bit better. All right. Good morning. What's up, Vanna? All right. McNasty, David, what's going on? Tim Pitt, William. All right. Let everybody get checked in. All right. So we'll just jump right into it, and I appreciate you guys being here. Bob, what's up? Ruben, thanks for checking in right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I saw last night, or I saw when I woke up this morning, that you had Tony Mitchell, remember, former Alabama player, had to go to the junior college route, where he's back, and he is committed to Mississippi State. So good for him, coming back to the SEC. I knew that wouldn't be the last time that we heard from Tony Mitchell, right? So, yeah, Case, thanks for the hoodie fun, man. I appreciate it. This hoodie's tight, right? So, and then I saw another hoodie that I like. That might be it's a Ryan Williams hoodie. It's from Breaking Tea. I like hoodies. It's almost hoodie season. But good to see Tony Mitchell back in the fold. I love it. And good for him. You know, I still feel that he left Alabama too early. I feel that if he would have stayed, you know, he would have had some opportunities. But it's always hard. Like, hindsight is 2020. But with this particular case, I don't know if he stays here. Who's he playing over? Right? Is he playing that Husky position? Jeff is a fan funder. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for being a fan funder for 8 months. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you look back at guys, like, is Tony Mitchell playing this year? I don't know. Caleb Downs, yeah, he would have been playing, but I mean, we haven't even thought about him. I mean, where would have like Earl Little, would he have been playing? I don't know. Like, I feel pretty good about the secondary, and I get it. And we've talked about this many times. They haven't been tested yet, but I like our secondary. I'm getting comfortable. I've already kind of moved on from that, but good for Tony Mitchell. I'm happy for him. I think he's a good person. I like comeback stories. I like people who have taken accountability and just move forward with their life. And, you know, this guy went through a lot in the last, 2-3 years. So I'm happy for him, to be honest. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. Today on the show, as mentioned, mailbag questions, Georgia's first 3 games, a snapshot of the Bulldogs, great comparison. I'll take some calls on the back end. Kyle, any recommendations for breakfast spots, anything to do around campus during the game of Georgia? Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if you can get in, then definitely hit up Waysider for breakfast. It's one of my favorite spots. It's iconic. It hasn't changed since Bear Bryant. It's a really good spot to hit. There's also Big Bad Breakfast that just opened up. I haven't particularly been there yet, but it's a really good spot that you can check out. There's another spot that I've been hitting up for lunch with my workout group. It's called Mark's Mart. It's in downtown Northport. You go in there and they literally have like what is the same thing as like a hot fridge. So you open it up and they have hamburgers. You know, they had a beef rib that was like, it looked like a brontosaurus. So yeah, I could definitely drop some recommendations for you guys coming in for that Georgia game. I appreciate it. Just let me know. Today I'm going to Innisfree at 11:30, not to drink, but to eat. So they actually have some good food at Innisfree. Definitely ask for the Irish gold sauce. All right. What's up, Jamal? I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Y'all think because you guys won previous games, it's supposed to carry in the next year? No, I don't think so. I don't think what happened yesterday impacts today at all. That's why, like, for me specifically, like, you have to start every single day with the right psychological disposition, because yesterday does not matter into today. Just like last year's games, they don't carry over into this year. Now, there's some same players that played in that game last year that are going to play in this game. There's a different coach. There's a different strategy, all that stuff. But, like, anything that you did yesterday, it doesn't mean shit. Seriously. Does anything that you did yesterday help you? Maybe some preparation for, like, work and stuff like that. Like, I know for me specifically, like, the better that I work on the graphics the night before, the better that my day is and I get off to a better start. But I mean, you have to have kind of that next day mentality in your life. I always talk about mentality. Here I go. I love mentality. I got that dog mentality. I like to work. I like to be organized. I like every single day I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to set the tone for the day, because I know that yesterday doesn't matter to today and that I have to attack each and every day. You think it's fun for me to come up here like on a bye week and come up with topics to talk about? Yes, I love it. But yo, it's not like there's scraping news right now, but I do it because consistency is one of the things that is a goal of mine every single day, with whether it's in my work, whether it's, parenting my children every single day. Nothing matters yesterday. It's always about the next day, and it's about right now. All right, so let's dive in. Before we get to our mailbags, and where I put my mailbag is in the community tab right here on Bamboo Football on YouTube, right? All right, Week 5 matchup, that is next week, 6 p.m. under the lights at Bryant-Denny Stadium on Nick Saban Field TV as ESPN. Georgia right now favored by 2.5. You got Alabama at 3-0. You got Georgia at 3-0. The Crimson Tide led by Jalen Milroe, 746 yards and 14 touchdowns. Carson Beck on the other side, 680 yards with 7 touchdowns. Williams in with the $20 super chat. Let's go, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Jam Miller, 29 carries, 265 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Don't forget about Justice Haynes, who's also eating. And then 17-year-old Ryan Williams, 10 receptions for 286 yards and 4 touchdowns. You got Travis Etienne for Georgia, 24 carries, 157 yards. Didn't play in that first game because of a suspension. And then you have Dominic Lovett, 12 receptions for 150 5 yards. We'll dive more into it. I appreciate you guys checking in. Let me know where you guys are watching from. If you're a Georgia fan, welcome on in. We'll talk about Alabama. We'll talk about Georgia. I appreciate you guys, getting excited about the next upcoming game for each of these teams. I love it that they have an open week. Yesterday during the SEC teleconference, Coach Kalen DeBoer said that they're already working on Georgia. I think Kirby Smart said they'll start today. Hey, Kaysen with the super chat, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys supporting the product. This is how I make a livelihood, so I appreciate all the support, whether you're a fan funder, super chats, or if you literally just hit the thumbs up, or if you're a subscriber. Thank you. Honestly, every show comes from my heart. I cook up every single graphic by myself. I do have T help me out on game days, which I really appreciate. She does an amazing job. But, all the stuff right here from Bama Football on YouTube. So, when you look at this game, it's the college football Super Bowl early on. And, we'll talk the mailbag questions, and then I'll kind of start to dive into Georgia versus Alabama. Kalen DeBoer said they're working on Georgia. Absolutely. Kirby Smart and his crew said they're working on Georgia. Each of those teams will practice today. Alabama will practice after being off since Wisconsin. Starting today, we'll have some interviews later on in the day, whatever we get from the University of Alabama. All right, here's my first question from my mailbag. The offense has shown an explosion and the ability to win. Will the defense step up in big-time games to quiet the Bama haters? That's from Bomb. 1849. As I'll show in just a minute, I'll show a comparison of Alabama and Georgia via Pro Football Focus grades. I actually think that Alabama's defense is ahead of the offense right now. And just hear me out. Each of these teams, like if we look at the offense, Alabama offense, they haven't, another super chat with 10. Jarvis in the 10 spot, man. Mario Gordon in as a fan funder. Oh my goodness, man. We're doing Thursday right. Thank you so much, fam. We're cooking today. I feel that each of these, like the offense hasn't really been tested and the defense hasn't been tested yet. But in the opportunities that they have had, they have executed. I think the defense, when you look to their overall individual grades, they're doing really well. defensive line, and I get it. We're starting to question the run a little bit out of a small sample size, but Tim Keenan's playing great. LT Overton, great. The inside linebackers, where we want them to be. The corners, they haven't been challenged, but they played 100 snaps of man coverage, which I like. They played pretty well so far. I think on the offensive side, you just have a bunch of home run hitters, but why I feel the defense is ahead of the offense is because the offensive line, as a group, have only played in one game together, right? They didn't play against Western Kentucky. They didn't play against South Florida. They've literally just played in one game, which was against Wisconsin. Right. That's why I feel that, going back to your question, Bon, I feel that the defense does have the ability and playmakers. And I'll be honest, I like Kane Womack. I already do. Now, it's early. It's a small sample size. The guy's not satisfied. He's not happy with where the defense is. He knows that the defense, I guarantee you he was cussing during that 18-play Wisconsin drive. I guarantee you he was frustrated when South Florida's quarterback was running dive again and again during week 2. But there's a lot of people that feel that Alabama's defense is still vulnerable. I don't think so. It's not perfect, but I do like the early trajectory of the defense. Good question. I appreciate it. Ryan Wingo in with another 5 spot, man. Yo, you guys taking care of me. Thank you so much, man. Ryan, that's your first super chat on the channel. Thank you so much, man. Welcome in. And everybody, man, thank you so much. You're right. And you have to be a perfectionist on defense because Alabama football fans, and I would imagine same thing with Georgia fans, like defense, the standard here is defense, okay? I say this. You make Alabama fans happy recruiting. You make Alabama fans happy by playing exceptional defense. We don't play around here on defense. Like, that's a standard, okay? Samuel, man, what's up with the super chat? Yo, it's like an avalanche. Samuel in. Roll Tide, Kyle. I think Alabama beats Georgia 42-21. I hope the defense will score 2 times. Damani Jackson, pick 6, and a Keon Sabb, pick 6. I think tomorrow I'm going to write it down, kind of show you the transfers that have transferred into Alabama and how they are doing this year, right? You mentioned 2 of them. I mean, Damani Jackson, he's only allowed 1 reception this year. Keon Sabb has 2 interceptions, playing in a high level of snaps. I think he's doing amazing. Man, who would have thought that we'd be here at this point in time and we're not even talking about guys who left because we're comfortable with the secondary. I get it. They haven't played a quarterback, and they will play Carson Beck. And we'll talk about him in just a second. But who they have played, they've done their job. All right, next question. Not sure if you mentioned this before, but how did you become a Bama fan? Maybe you could do a call-in show when you tell us stories. Look, so when I first moved here, clearly I'm not from Alabama, but I've lived here now for going on, this will be my 8th complete year of living here. My livelihood obviously depends on it first, but man, one thing that I really fell in love with about Alabama and about this football team is the mentality and the strive for perfection. I think that has certainly continued to, because I didn't grow up in SEC country. So getting a taste of like living here in Tuscaloosa and understanding the fabric and the camaraderie of what it takes to be great. Do you know how hard it is to maintain the standard of perfection, right? And there's probably so many people that Nick Saban just brought on as Alabama football fans because of his simple mentality and approach. I love that stuff. I love the fact that, if you work really hard, you can succeed, right? Like, if you don't have phenomenal skill, what do you have? Phenomenal will. And I think Alabama, I think I learned so much from Coach Saban during his career coaching. I would listen to those press conferences. I think that got into me. I honestly do. I think it got in my blood. Man, and you look at the transformation from when I first started this channel to where I'm at now, and I'm not done, I promise you. I have goals. I have all sorts of aspirations, and that's a standard. Like, how good do you want to be? I want to be as good as I can possibly be, and so should you. Alex with the super chat, man. UGA will never feel more pressure to win this game. Pressure creates weakness. That's the other thing, man, is like big-time players rise up in big-time games. I mean, last year doesn't matter at all, but who rose up last year? It was Jalen Milroe, right? Fourth quarter. Some people have that inside of them to be able to rise up when the pressure gets turned up. Bama Proz asks, will Kendrick Law step up? Yeah. And look, I think what we've learned this week about Kendrick Law is there might be a misconception that he's not playing. He is playing, and he is getting snaps. Now, there's a difference from getting snaps on the field and like getting receptions. So let's talk about him playing. Hey, Mario Gordon has just upgraded to Fan Fund. We appreciate you. And then Eddie in with the 20 spot. Thank you so much, man. Welcome on in, Eddie. Roll, man. Roll Tide to you, man. Thank you so much. Let's roll. Absolutely. Thank you so much. He's playing. And as you've seen on your recruiting sites and other YouTube channels or, national media, which I encourage you guys to definitely support all those guys putting in the work, in the grind, right? Patriot Life in with the 10 spot, man. I appreciate you, Patriot Life. Thank you, man. I saw you supporting Jenny Cackney. I'm going to talk about Jenny in just a second. Kendrick Law right now in this offense is being utilized for his elite stock blocking ability, okay? He's downfield, he's on field. He's literally lifted a dude up and like put him into the turf against Wisconsin, okay? He has one reception this year for 22 yards. Will his production increase? I would imagine so. How can they not? I think that there's so many weapons. Alabama is scoring at such a quick rate. You haven't even had time to really sustain these type of drives or even be put in a situation where you need to rely on different players because, look, balls are going in the end zone. I'm not going to get started about, like the intermediate passing game because I take a deep ball, which puts 6 on the board rather than the first down, right? We talked about that a million different times. I think Kendrick Law, his production will increase. And, they have to figure out a way to utilize their best players. There's only one football. It blows my mind that Justice Haynes only carried the ball 2 times, but I'm not mad about it. You come out with the dub and, you got to get a lot of players fed. There's only one football on the field. Good question, though. I'm wondering the same thing. Will Caleb Odom start getting touches earlier in games? Caleb Odom is another very talented young wide receiver who is getting repetitions. He's played close to 50 snaps, and he has 4 receptions. He had 2 in the last game from Ty Simpson. He's playing. I like having a big, tall wide receiver. I think he's going to be a matchup problem. The future of the Alabama wide receivers, it's wild to think about. You have Ryan Williams, you have Caleb Odom, you have Rico Scott who's playing. You have Amari Jefferson, Caleb Cunningham coming in next year. Still got to sign him. Latsier Brooks is another guy that's super talented. Jalen Hell, he's injured right now. Jaron Hamilton. And think about this. I'm going to blow your mind with what I'm about to say. Every wide receiver on the roster can come back next year. Right? There's not a senior on the roster. Now, are these guys going to go on to the NFL? I'm sure. Are you going to be able to keep them all out of the transfer portal? I hope so. But, there's a lot of guys to feed. Good question, though. All right, we'll go full screen on this one. All right, Travis B., I think this is our last mailbag question, then we'll move forward. Out of UGA and Tennessee, which team will be hardest to beat? I'm more worried about Tennessee than I am UGA. I know the typical UGA will show up unlike they did the Kentucky game, but Tennessee just has more of a want than UGA. Good question. This schedule's hard. I mean, when you look, like, we're about to go into a different type of a season. It's starting now, right? Georgia certainly presents its challenges because of who they are. You look at what they continue to do under Kirby Smart. They're atop of the college football pinnacle along with Alabama, the elite teams that continue to strive for success every single year. So we know what we're going to get out of Georgia. I think sometimes people don't talk too much about Carson Beck, who I think is a really quality quarterback, clearly. I think with Tennessee, what is concerning about that game and LSU is the fact that they're on the road. Playing on the road in those two atmospheres when they're good is clearly challenging. I mean, the last 2 times that Alabama, the last time that they went to Tennessee and the last time they went to LSU, they lost those games. There was a ton of penalties. I think Alabama had like 15 penalties in each of those games. Josh Heupel's a really good coach. They have a really good quarterback. They're a buzzsaw right now. They haven't really played anybody. I I think home field will really show up for Bama. I don't know if one's going to be tougher than the other. I just think the road element adds a lot into it. If Tennessee is unbeaten at that point in time, I know they got I would say they got a tough matchup this week. Then, Tennessee has even more to play for. Josh Heupel's a good coach, for sure. Absolutely. I don't know if one's tougher than the other. I think that the SEC is just built different than the other conferences. I mean, look at the Big Ten right now. I mean, yeah, they got some teams for sure. Big 12 doesn't. ACC, I guess we'll see what Miami and South Florida do this weekend. But I think this one right here, Georgia, Bama, this is the biggest game in college football. I mean, this is the early college football Super Bowl, period. Good question, though, Travis B. I appreciate you, man. All right, let's look at Georgia's first 3 games. Now, I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. An overwhelming amount of super chats. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to everybody that is super chatted today right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I honestly thank you so much. Jamal, what's up, man? Kyle, that's what I'm most worried about. Bama fans could literally turn this game. And the thing is, Jamal, I think Jamal's a Georgia fan. The thing about this game, Caitlin, what's up? Is Bryant-Denny Stadium, when they added these lights, they increased that nighttime atmosphere. Because before then, yeah, I mean, night game at Bryant-Denny tough, but man, once they got the lights and they kind of updated, with the DJ and stuff, man, that's a very challenging environment to play. Plus, Alabama fans right now, one of the things that they've really done is they have really done a great job supporting Coach Kalen DeBoer and the players. But Coach Kalen DeBoer, can you imagine taking over for Coach Saban? The guy has, I continue to ride this. The guy has zero ego. He's like, yo, this guy has a statue out. The field is named out. He don't talk about any of that. He just talks about, he's very cordial. He's very gracious of the opportunity. I like him, man. He's such a nice person. He's a hell of a coach. In big time games, this guy's come with it. Think about this too. This is his first SEC game. Is Georgia. All right, so Georgia in their first 3 games, we'll go full monitor on this. Well, actually, it started at the very bottom. Kirby Smart making $13 million a year. I think Coach Kalen DeBoer is at $10 million, if I'm not mistaken. Kirby Smart hired on in 2015 after being here with the University of Alabama. He's 97-16, which is amazing. And he is a 2-time champ. I mean, these last 3 years for Georgia have been absolutely phenomenal, right? All right, so first game of the season on national TV, in a game that I actually watched. I watched 2 games so far at Georgia. I didn't watch them against Tennessee Tech. But I sat down and watched them beat Clemson. And that first half, you know what? Clemson, they did a pretty good job. I think they kind of punched above their belt. And then I think in the back end of that game, Georgia made better, second half execution. They had better players. And, they're able to take, Clemson down 34-3. Second game, kind of a buzzsaw game. The third game, I don't know what to take about that third game. I honestly feel that Kentucky should have won that game. And I think that they mismanaged that last drive. Kentucky played great. The quarterback, played through the roof because he wanted to beat his former team. Sometimes you have games that they're not your night. Like Kentucky, things just weren't going their way towards the back end. I thought if they would have managed that fourth quarter drive a little bit better, they could have kicked the field goal and won that game. Playing in the SEC is tough, period. I don't care where you go. I'll tell you what, though, if Alabama was to barely beat Kentucky 13-12, I don't know why. It seems like Alabama is held to a completely different standard than all other teams. It is the weirdest thing. Like, if Alabama played Idaho close and Boise close, you'd never hear the end of it. If Bama played Kentucky like this, people would want Coach Kalen DeBoer fired. It's so weird. Am I wrong? Yeah, Jay, I'm going to open up the call-in line after I cruise through a couple slides. But, yeah, Kentucky did play well, and, not taking anything away from them. But if Bama, can you imagine if that was Coach Kalen DeBoer's first SEC game and Alabama only won 13-12? Oh, my goodness. Seriously, the whole city would be on fire. It'd be crazy, but they're like, oh, well, Kentucky played, it's a tough place to play. Well, yeah, Lexington at night, it's an SEC game. It's just weird. Man, you look at this, put Bama 13, Kentucky 12. Oh, my God. But for some reason with Georgia, we're like, well, maybe, Kentucky, SEC's tough. It's weird. Kalen is right, man. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, Tennessee hasn't played anybody. You see what I'm saying, Jamal? It's crazy, man. Like, just switch the scores. Put Alabama 13, Kentucky 12. We be burning this place down. The YouTube channel would be burning. All right. I think this is huge. So their right guard, Tate Ratledge, he's going to be back later on in the season, but he had to have the tightrope surgery, right? Every time I hear the tightrope, I think of Tua. So he's out of this game, which I think is really big. Georgia's offensive line, when we dive into the grades more next week, they have a really good offensive line. Outstanding, to be honest. And Tate Ratledge will be out, which I think, clearly when you start to look at key injuries of this game, I think Alabama will probably get most of their guys back. But Tate Ratledge being out, I think, certainly concerning if you're a Georgia fan. Carson Beck there at the bottom of your screen, 56 of 82 passing, 680 yards with 7 touchdowns. As we continue to look at the Georgia Bulldogs, you have Trevor Etienne, right? 24 carries, 157 yards, hasn't scored a touchdown. No, his stats are in 2 games. He didn't play in the first game, but he played in the last 2. Suspended for that first game. He's the running back from Florida. I think he rushed for 1,200 yards during his time with the Gators. You have Dominic Lovett, 12 receptions, 155 yards, averaging 12.9 per catch and a touchdown. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Julian Humphrey, my goodness, he's a cornerback. He's playing great. Really good football. A lot of snaps. He's playing great. And then Rylan Wilson has 12 tackles and 1 sack. In fact, I think he had 5 tackles against Kentucky. Now, when we look to this game, and look, this is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg of our coverage. When we get to next week, I'll really turn it up in terms of like grades and like deep dives. But I think Peyton Woodring, their kicker, just like Alabama has James Burnap, is like kind of a secret weapon at the punter position. Yo, Peyton Woodring's Alabama's kicker right now, the returning Lou Groza Award winner. Think about this. He's 0-1 on field goals. He missed his first kick against Wisconsin, right? 46-yard kick. This guy, Peyton Woodring, he's been really good so far. 6-6, he has the longest of 50. I love special teams. I've watched and played enough football to understand that is such a critical component of every single game. Alabama special teams is great. Great. A+. Lou Groza Award winner, Graham Nicholson, once he finds his rhythm, he hasn't missed a PAT or anything like that, but, you got to be able to rise up in big-time games, right? Playing in Camp Randall, I get it. It's challenging. It's not like Neyland Stadium. It's not like Death Valley. It's not like, Oklahoma Stadium. Those are completely different places. It's not like playing against Georgia at home in front of 105,000 fans, right? And 11 million people watching the game. Right? You got to tighten up, Graham. And no doubt, Jamal, man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Woodring, he's balling, right? He's like one of the top kickers in the country. When I started looking at the stats and everything was going through everything, I was like, ooh, he stands out. And like I said, going into next week, I'll have more stat analysis between the two teams. But when you look to the Pro Football Focus grades, and I didn't add everything here. This was, I was kind of running against the clock in my show preparation. Again, I cut all the graphics myself, so I want to be able to give you something that you can look at. I'm very visual myself. It helps me with the show. Alabama on the left, Georgia on the right. As you can see, I put kind of the even logo up at the top because it seems like the offense between each of the teams is pretty much similar. I don't really see like glaring numbers between the offense. Overall, 93.8 for Bama, 92.4 for Georgia. And this is from Pro Football Focus. The offense is 76.3. For Georgia, it's 78.0. Pass, 76.3. Pass for Georgia. run for Bama, right? Pretty much even so far through 3 games. But you do see some discrepancies with, the last 2 columns, and that's the defense that's why I said in the beginning, I love the defense right now. I think they're in a really good spot. Again, I understand it. They haven't played anybody. Georgia, they did play Clemson. I guess that's the better of these teams that anybody has played. Hey, Garrett, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, graphics kind of help, tell the story. And none of this is, this isn't opinion stuff that we're looking at. Like, these are facts from Pro Football Focus. William, I agree. I'm looking at that Tennessee and Oklahoma game. We'll definitely be watching that together. And then special teams. I was surprised that Alabama has a better special teams grade. Maybe I'm not. I mean, the guys just missed 1 field goal. So, it's kick returners, punt returners. Alabama, I think they've only returned 1 kick this year, if I'm not mistaken. And that was by Kendrick Lawrence, who returned the kick 52 yards and then fumbled. You've had 3 different punt returners. You had Cole Adams, Jalen Mbakwe, who had a 28-yard punt return, and then Ryan Williams. Now, a lot of feedback on this. Nobody wants Ryan Williams returning punts. That's like, I learned that. I was reading all the comments, even on our Facebook page. Nobody wants him returning punts. Okay, just hear me out. I would like him returning punts just in big-time games when, things are kind of tight. I feel that, if you want to, create an earthquake, you imagine, let me set the tone. You win, this game between Georgia and Alabama. You get to the 3rd quarter, need some momentum, game's a little tight. Ryan Williams back there. By the way, look at this. This hoodie's fire, right? This is so tight. What a time to be alive. Again, I got this on Athlete's Thread. And he returns a punt for a touchdown. I don't know. You know what, Jarvis? Yeah, Jalen Mbakwe looked fine too. In fact, he returned his punt further than Ryan Williams did. No cap, says Kendrick Lawrence. Great choice. I showed this graphic. I'll run through a couple more graphics, then I'll open up the call-in line for you guys to call in. No, Jimmy, this is the only one. This is the last. Okay, I say my last hoodie. I might get one more hoodie. We'll see. We'll test it out. All right. These are the last few games since at least 2015 that the 2 teams have played in. Graphics are a little small. I'll kind of zoom those in. But last season, Alabama defeated Georgia 27-24 in the SEC title game. I thought that was a very entertaining game. The year before that, in the college football championship game, or the season, you get what I'm saying, 2022 season, Georgia defeated Alabama 33-18. And a lot of Alabama fans will point to the fact that you were missing 2 wide receivers. Whatever. I mean, you lose the game, you lose the game. SEC title game in 2021, 41-24, 41-24 in 2020. Sam with us, super chat, man. I heard Ryan Williams almost commit to Auburn. Yo, all right. So, yeah, what Samuel's talking about is on the podcast. Ryan Williams is talking about the fact that he was close to committing to Auburn, right? Everything was lined up. They were going to celebrate, and then the 4th and 31 play is taking place, and Ryan Williams is like, no way is that going to happen. And then that was kind of a play. Think about that. That play, the avalanche that caused. Oh, and we had someone inside the comment box that was saying, I think it was Joe. Joe, I love you. I appreciate all the feedback. But he was saying, because I said yesterday that I don't feel that Auburn's on the right trajectory. And then he countered with saying that, well, Auburn's done a really good job recently with the class of 2025 recruiting. I think they have done a good job recruiting in-state. But I was talking more about the trajectory of the program right now. Now, recruiting, I think you're right, has momentum. But that momentum is, I think, starting to shift because once you start losing games, I mean, you lose a game at Cal or to Cal. I know that was at Jordan Hare. You've already made a change at quarterback. people starting to question. And these guys haven't signed yet. Like, for example, Derek Smith, right, who was once committed to Alabama. Now he's committed to Auburn. You know, he's going to be at this game between Alabama and Georgia. The national brand and the national media exposure, all these players can see how Alabama can put you in the limelight, right? So I think that's something to continue to think about. Like, playing for Auburn, okay, you know, how good are you really going to be? And are you going to be on a national stage to, you know, be seen on TV, lose to like Cal? Or are you going to be on the national stage playing against Georgia to win? So I just think that's kind of the way I was looking at it. And I get it. You know, they got bags. They can throw, you know, a ton of money. But in the end, your NIL isn't close to what you could make in the NFL, right? So play the long game, you know, sometimes. One more time, I'm about to open up the call-in line. You'll see it appear at the bottom of the screen. Hey, oh my goodness, Kalen. Kalen really turned it up. Hugs to Kyle and T and the undefeated. Mom aced her heart surgery at Princeton yesterday. Her name's Becky. Let's give her a roll tide and get well. Kyle, oh my hoodie, bro. Yo, definitely support. Let's give some shout outs to Becky. Hey, Becky, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. As you heal up, thoughts and prayers with you from the Bama Football family on YouTube and the undefeated. Heart care is ultra important to me. In fact, I am leading a CPR training on October 12th here in Tuscaloosa as part of our workout group. As you know, I was able to administer CPR this year to a lady. We were able to bring her back. I wouldn't have known what to do if I didn't take that CPR training class. My father was saved by CPR. So, you know, it's really important to me. And Caitlin, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Thoughts and prayers out to you, and especially your mom, Becky. Becky, roll tide, and we love you, Becky. Thank you so much. You know, and you're blessed to have a daughter like Caitlin. So thank you, Caitlin, for the super chat. But most importantly, we are happy that your mom is well. So prayers up to you. All right, prayers up. Oh, you know who else I want to? I was gonna say this, and then I'll talk about the visitor list. Then I'll open up the call-in line. Yo, we have an emoji inside that represents cancer, right? And it's a pink icon. So we have Jenny Cackney, who is battling stage 4 cancer. She's a huge Alabama football fan, and she's going around to see as many games as she can. She's coming to the Iron Bowl. So if you can hit that emoji too, it's a pink ribbon inside the comment box. So I love all that stuff. I appreciate it. Here's a look at the visitors list. All right, we got AK Deer coming in. You got Caleb Cunningham. You got Chuck McDonald. He's from California. Same thing with Dejon Lee. You got Derek Smith, who's committed to Auburn. You got Duke Johnson. Really like his game as well. Ivan Taylor, who's currently committed to Michigan. Formerly, he was committed to Notre Dame. I think there could be some smoke there. I appreciate you guys hitting out those pink ribbons. And Justice Terry. That's the other thing. I think that this upcoming game between Bama and Georgia, I kind of think the winner of this game gets Justice Terry. It was like, I think he's a must get in the class. And then Keelan Russell, he'll be here as well. Same thing with Ty Haywood. Each of those guys out of the Lone Star State. It's exciting. Man, I can't wait. All right, let's open up the call line, and we'll take some calls. If you guys want to call in and chat with me for a little while right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Caitlin, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. Everybody, all the super chats, all the thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here. We got a call. It's a 256. We'll take it right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Darryl from Huntsville.
Darryl, what's up, Coach? I appreciate you being here, man. Welcome to the show. Your early thoughts as we start to kind of turn the page to Alabama and Georgia. What's on your mind? Kind of some storylines, themes emerging between Georgia and Alabama upcoming next weekend.
My main storyline right now is don't believe the hype. No, nothing like victory to bring enthusiasm, but sometimes you don't look at the problems that are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I see, I'm still concerned with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
As far as when they pull a guard, they pull and pin. That seems to be the best running play, but just running straight ahead, they seem to have trouble consistently moving people. Consistently, what should be 5 and 6 yard gains, they're 2 and 3 yard gains. And also, I heard Mr. Pate on his show say something. I was shocked as a man that's supposed to be a knowledgeable football fan. He said it doesn't matter if you have a mid-range passing game. You are what you are. Well, that's not true. If you don't have a mid-range passing game, sooner or later, because the deep ball is the lower percentage throw. The further you throw the ball down the field, the lower your percentage. And so far, we're doing pretty good with that, but you got to have that 15, 10-yard, 7-yard catch to set up that 2nd and 3
mm-hmm.
to keep those drives alive. When Bryce Young destroyed Georgia, he threw, I believe, 1 touchdown to Jameson Williams over 50 yards. Everything else was, except for maybe 2 or 3 throws on the sideline to Mechie, everything else was mid-range.
Mm-hmm.
He was eating them alive, 7 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still concerned with the mid-range passing game, and I still don't think we're involving the tight ends enough as in the passing game. And on the secondary, we've been blessed to have quarterbacks that cannot throw.
Yeah.
Because we've been beaten deep consistently when they run deep shots.
Mm-hmm.
The guys 5, 6, 7 yards behind us.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get some things fixed.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that Milroe is being more active in the running game. Mm-hmm. I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this should be part of as we go ahead. But I'm not gloom and doom. I'm just being realistic. And I'm pretty sure the coaches are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And we need to get this fixed because Georgia's going to run the football. There's no doubt about that. They're going to run the football on the defensive side. So we got to be able to shut those. You're not going to shut down everything, but you got to be able to shut those runs down to 2 and 3 yards consistently, because you don't want to get to that point where it's 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 4. We want that 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. If we get that consistently, we'll be good. But I'm pleased with the coaching staff. I think they did a great job. I think they're doing a great job. And I'm pleased with everything that's going on the program, and I'm glad to see it. And because there were a lot of, as you're going to have to tell you, there were a lot of naysayers that saying this man was a chameleon. He wasn't a great coach. He really, the success he had was because he played against, he coached at some inferior colleges, which is all a bunch of crap.
Mm-hmm.
But, anything Alabama's going to be criticized. We know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no doubt about it. Ryan Williams is the real deal. There's no doubt about that at all. And we just got to have some more people to come out and make some plays. Like you said, they got to get out of the witness protection program and show up. And maybe they'll scheme them. It's good. It's odd that we had them this time for off day, off week, but it came at the right time.
Mm.
It really did. It came at the right time because we got a lot of little nagging injuries that probably, would have hampered some players, and they'll have a chance to heal. So I think it came at the right time. And also I want to say to Becky, Roll Tide, and my prayers are for you that you receive healing.
No doubt. Thanks for calling in, Coach Darrell. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Always my pleasure.
Yep. That's our good buddy, Coach Darrell calling in from Huntsville, and he's right. If you missed it, Becky, Caitlin's mom, she's recovering from surgery, and we are happy to hear that, she's healthy, and our prayers are with her. We appreciate you guys for joining us today, all the super chats and the thumbs up and all the support right here on Bama Football on YouTube as we get closer to another weekend of college football. Let me know what game you're watching inside the comment box, and I appreciate you guys throughout the weekend. I always say I might take like a day off or something like that, but I love to be here, so don't be surprised if you guys, see me pop up live or creating more videos. In fact, Alabama is practicing today and tomorrow, so you will get some videos that I will upload to this YouTube channel later on in today. And please follow us on Facebook Bama Football on YouTube. Same thing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X, and then my personal Instagram is Mr. Kyle Henderson. If you want to get kind of that hyped up mood, it's literally just like inspirational stuff from my workouts and, pictures of my kids and stuff like that. All right, back to the phone lines. We got Free Mike calling in. Free Mike. Yo, we got Free Mike on Thursday. I love it, man. What's up, Mike? Welcome to the show, man.
Hello, Kyle. Thank you for having me in. Hey, man, you know something? There's a good chance that we beat the heck out of Georgia. There's a good chance. If Georgia brings that weak crap they brought to that Kentucky game, that weak crap, they're going to get their butt whipped in Tuscaloosa. Because you know something, Kyle? We have a highly explosive football team on the offense. And by the way, Milroe is having a better year than Carson Beck is. So Milroe has more overall yards. He's more in control of the game. And if Georgia brings out weak crap they did, like I mentioned, Bama is going to beat them 40-3, Kyle. So Georgia better bring it, because you know something here. Here's my big picture, man. Bama knows this more than anything. Being on top, getting on top is one thing. Staying on top is a whole different ball game. Alabama and Nick Saban knows that better than anybody, and that's where Georgia's at. They got the challenge of staying on top right now, and they really missed that Bowers, and they really missed that McConkey. Them two guys were excellent after the catch. They really missed that Bowers. He's killing it in the NFL. He's doing good. Mm-hmm. And I'd like it. And that's just what I'd like to say. Just Georgia. I predicted Kyle before the season. I predicted Georgia's going to take 2 regular season losses, and there's a good chance that Bama puts one on it this weekend. And this Milroe thing, him running the ball a lot, I think that's by design, man, because it seemed like, Kyle, you tell me, buddy, I mean, during this last game, it seems like Milroe was just tucking and running a lot, just tucking and running. When Haynes was on the field, and maybe they're playing a little vanilla. Maybe they are. Maybe that's the game plan we need. If that's how we're going to win, Milroe tuck and run. I mean, if that's going to get us the W, I'm all for it, man. But, yeah, so I think that might have been by design, that offense we're seeing.
Let me ask you, inside the undefeated, does anybody else think that Alabama takes it to Georgia? And what I mean by that is, like, by 14, by 2-3 touchdowns. Is there anyone else that thinks that Alabama just completely takes it to Georgia? I mean, I could possibly see this. I mean, I get it. Georgia coming in as a 2.5-point favorite, but man, could you imagine if Alabama just gets off to a hot start? What I saw against Kentucky, I mean, I get it. They have explosive players, but man, if Alabama is able to create some turnovers early on and that quick strike offense gets going, what happens if this? What happens if Alabama is able just to boat run Georgia? Like, I mean, I didn't really think about it until you brought it up, Mike, but, I mean, it's certainly a possibility with Alabama's quick strike ability. I don't know if Alabama jumps to number 1. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I think, hey, Marcus, what's up, man? I appreciate it. Yeah, the hoodie from Athletes Thread. This is Ryan Williams. But, no, I'm hearing you, Mike. Mike, what else you got when you look to Kirby Smart versus Coach Kalen DeBoer?
Kalen DeBoer is a better coach. I'll have him over Kirby Smart any day. That's my opinion. We still have the best coach in college football. But, yeah, Georgia has a lot of I don't want to say weaknesses, but they have a lot of holes on their team and early season challenges, and they better get it together pretty quick. And this off week may not help them much. They need to spend more time on the field getting it figured out. This off week may idle them and set them back a little bit. Kyle, there's a butt whipping on the horizon. Bama's going to whip them if Georgia don't get this ready. Hey, man, check Ryan Williams, right? We all love Ryan Williams. It's great having a player that explosive on your team because every time he gets the ball, you're like, yeah, we got positive. But here, I don't know if y'all feel this way, but when Ryan Williams gets the ball, I'm thinking, man, please just don't get injured. Please just don't get injured. This guy's a little. He's so small. He's like, I'm thinking, please don't kill this guy. Please don't injure this guy. But it's awesome having a player like him on the team that whenever he gets the ball, he's just possible just to take it to the house, So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, Kyle, it's been a great season. Hey, man, the Wisconsin game was a must-win in my opinion, dude. And we passed that test with flying colors. And what stands out about our team, my brother, man, what stands out about our team is the explosiveness of this team. I mean, honestly, our offensive line is still the worst in college football because they've been injured, with all due respect. But if we actually get an awesome offensive line that becomes the powerhouse they're supposed to be, the explosiveness of this team on both sides of the football is outrageous. And Kyle, on that topic, look at the explosiveness all over the SEC. Ole Miss, right? Did you notice the three games they played? They've won like 200-6. I mean, in Tennessee, that game coming up this weekend against Oklahoma. Oh, one rant. I don't want to keep you forever, but one rant real quick, Kyle. Texas, get a schedule. Your schedule sucks, Texas. Mm-hmm. You got a free ride your first year. And on top of that, even worse than that, the Ohio State posers, look at their schedule. The worst schedule in football, the easiest schedule in football is Ohio State posers can't even buy themselves a football team. And on top of that, big quick rant, Kyle. I'm sorry. The Big Ten has USC and UCLA, new Big Ten members. It seems like Ohio State would be playing them. Oh, no, it's LSU that plays them, the new Big Ten members. Ohio State's a bunch of posers. They do not have an out-of-conference game other than Marshall. They're weak, and they suck. If you're an Ohio State fan, you suck, and so does your team. Kyle, roll tide, brother, man. I'm out of here. You take care, brother, man. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. All right, that's Free Mike calling in. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but what if Alabama is to be able to, just completely stomp Georgia? I mean, I don't know if that's likely, but I don't think that's. I mean, I could see it happening, right? And Jamal brought up he's a Georgia fan watching. He said that Georgia's secondary is really good. I will agree with that. I watched them, and I've seen their Pro Football Focus grades. They do have a really good secondary. We go back to the phone lines with the 919. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're online with Kyle Henderson. Who am I online with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? It's Garrison. I'm calling in from Tampa.
Hey, Garrison, what's up, man? I appreciate you joining the show. Thank you so much for being here, man, and welcome. Come with it, man.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, man, I watched the game against Wisconsin. I actually watched the first three games, and the game against Wisconsin opened up my eyes about our offensive line. The offensive line performed very great at Wisconsin. It's been the first time that the offensive line has been healthy as a whole. And I'm really impressed with the offensive line and the way that they're performing. Mm-hmm. I think that that's going to be vital going down the stretch, especially when we get into SEC play. Mm-hmm. But you can see the improvement from Caden Proctor from a year ago because he had trouble a year ago at the beginning of the season, giving up sacks. I like the fact that they nothing against Wilkin. But I like the fact that they put Pritchard at the right tackle position. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I think it just makes the offensive line more powerful, more explosive. So I'm really impressed with the offensive line, as well as the center. We had center problems last year, and it came back to hunt us in the end, especially in the championship game against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy about the center change, and I think Alabama is a better team than Georgia. Just from what I've seen so far this year, Georgia has a lot of offensive problems.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as explosive offensively.
100%.
I think their defense is still pretty good, but their offense, they don't have no guys on offense. Their receiver core is mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good back with ETN, but he hasn't been. I think he played 1 or 2 games. He hasn't really had much playing time.
Yep.
I think Alabama is overall a better team than Georgia, especially offensively. The performance that Georgia put on against Kentucky, they couldn't do anything offensively. And I think that will come back to hunt them, the fact that they have no guys that can just make plays on the offensive end. So, in my opinion, I agree with the last caller. I think Alabama will roll Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point regarding Georgia's offense. I 1,000,000% agree with you. I'm going to continue to watch them a little bit more in terms of like maybe a rewatch against that Kentucky. But I feel that same thing. I don't feel that Georgia has overly explosive wide receivers. Same thing. I mean, ETN, he is a good running back. Carson Beck's a good quarterback. But I just don't feel that they can match Alabama in terms of what Alabama has on the offensive side of the football. I mean, when I look to Alabama, I think, I'm like, where's Kendrick Law? Where's Justice Haynes? But they have so many guys that are able to have that quick strike ability. Georgia doesn't have that. Few teams do in college football. Alabama is able to score under a minute because of the playmakers that they have. And I think, as I continue to say weekly, I think a team that will be able to beat Alabama will be a team that can match that, or a team that can outscore them. So I kind of look around the world of college football. Who is that, or who could at least go toe-to-toe with them? And right now there's only one team that I see, and that's Texas. So that's just, and that's opinion, right? That's not fact. So I guess we'll see. And I agree with you regarding the offensive line. That's why I didn't list any of my offensive line players within the top 5 right now. Caden Proctor was the highest graded offensive lineman, over 70%. He's only played in 1 game. I want to see that offensive line have that consistent performance against Georgia. And I agree with you. Georgia's defense is good. An elite defense, and I think they definitely will be tested. Anything else before I move to my next caller?
One more thing. Man, I really love the job that Coach Kalen DeBoer is doing this year. And I just think the players are just playing more free. I don't know if anybody else sees that, but they're playing more free. It seems like they have a different excitement of the game. And I'm not taking nothing away from Coach Saban. He's the greatest coach of all time. But that change, it just seems like they're just playing more free. They're more excited. I just feel a different energy around Alabama right now with Coach Kalen DeBoer. So.
Yeah, and I think to your point as well, the inside linebacker position, one of the things that Deontay Lawson said during a fall camp interview is he said that in this particular 4-2-5 defensive front, the linebackers are a little bit more free and they can use their overall athleticism. That's why you see, I love this stat. And when you look to the leading tacklers on this team, it's not a safety. It's the inside linebackers, the way it should be. It's Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson. You want your best tacklers, most explosive players making the tackles, and that's what you're having with Alabama. I appreciate the call, man. Call in again. A really good dialogue, man. Thanks.
All right, man. Roll Tide. Thank you, Kyle.
Roll Tide to you, man. All right, 334, you're up next. Hey, welcome on in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. This is Ruben calling from Dothan, Alabama.
Hey, Ruben, what's up, man? Happy Thursday. I appreciate you being here, man. Come with it, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. First of all, excellent show. I try not to miss it, but sometimes the job and life gets in the way. So
I get you, man.
Things happen. I did want to talk about, I guess it's starting to become a little hot button topic now, but that mid-range passing game.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern on that is a nightmare scenario would be late in the fourth quarter, down by 3, hit a quick strike and go ahead, and now Georgia gets the ball, and they've still got plenty of time on the clock. We don't have the ability to eat time off the clock as we go down the field to score without that mid-range passing game. But just kind of like to hear your opinion on that, and I want to wish Becky a roll tide, and hope she gets feeling better soon. And I'm going to clear off the air and listen to you.
All right.
Off the phone.
Yeah, thanks.
Roll tide.
All right, thanks, Ruben. Yeah, the Ruben calling in, I appreciate it, Ruben. First-time caller. Yeah, regarding the short intermediate passing game, and I know Josh Pate, who does an amazing job, I'm sure you watch all of his shows, and you should, said that Alabama is never going to have an intermediate passing game. I started thinking about that, too, and I was like, damn, what a great point, at least under Jalen Milroe. And I was like, I guess they're not, which is fine because what he's been able to do from like a deep ball passing perspective or running the football, that's his game. But Ruben brings up the fact that he would like to see that in terms of, you get into a tight game, how can you kind of dink and dunk? I would believe that Nick Sheridan uses those running backs in a situation like that to continue to move the chains, continue to sustain the drive. So maybe Alabama's short intermediate passing game is just a high average rushing game. And what I mean by that is you look at Jam Miller and Justice Haynes. I don't have this exact stats in front of me, but they're averaging like 9.1 and 8.7 per carry. I mean, I don't think there's another tandem in college football that's able to do that. If Alabama's offensive line is blocking for these guys and they're able to move the chains, and I think if Alabama has to sustain drives, like a long drive and take time off the clock, they can do that. But I also do worry about that as well. It's like when you score so fast, which isn't a bad thing, you put your defense out on the field. I don't know. You could go back and forth about it, but I don't know. I mean, we saw Ty come in and kind of start dinking and dunking, and then that started the fire again. But, I mean, I'll take 5 touchdowns over 5 first downs, right? I know. We can go back and forth about it. Good point to ponder. All right, 609, you're up next. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Good morning. Bama Mike from New Jersey. How are you?
Bama Mike, what's up, man? I appreciate you joining us on this fine Thursday, man. Come with it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Chat's on fire today, huh? Congratulations. Really, really banging the chat.
Yeah, no, we've had, we continue to have a lot of support. And I feel that, the consistency of the shows in the morning, certainly helped that. Plus, it's Thursday. You're getting closer to Friday, starting to let your hair down a little bit, so it's good. I mean, people, enjoying it, which I greatly appreciate it. So, Bama Mike calling in from New Jersey, man. Come with it. Go ahead.
Congratulations. I've been with you from the first day you came over, so enough of that. This Georgia game is huge. It's got so many headlines, so many implications. Yeah. First game, post Saban, first game, DeBoer against Kirby. So many ramifications, so many top-level recruits coming to the game. And as much as I want to say that we are going to win big, this game is going to be close. This game is going to be close. Kirby is going to have them fired up, and they got all players on that side. Okay, they're all 4 or 5 stars. They have pride, and they're going to come here and fight hard. Now, I think the difference is going to be that we have the better quarterback on our side. Okay. Mm-hmm. Milroe better than Beck, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think as much as I love Milroe, he will be the difference. As much as I love Ryan, he is going to go up against the best secondary that he's going to face. Mm-hmm. Probably all first round back there, and then the scheme, they're going to make it very difficult for him, and then we're going to have to open up this playbook. And we might see a gadget here, end around. We might see K-Law finally. Mm-hmm. So the game is going to be tight. Mm-hmm. thank God that burnup is going to help us with field position early, because I just don't think our big play, explosive plays, Kirby's not going to allow that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think Kirby, he's just such a good coordinator that he might we won't get that many explosive plays as we've been getting.
Okay, this is a good point. Let me ask. This is another point to ponder. What's more likely to happen? Is the reason Alabama beats Georgia because of Alabama's defense, that they stopped Georgia's offense, or is it because Alabama's offense beat Georgia's defense? I like your point here. I think you're saying that it would more than likely be Alabama's defense because, yeah, Kirby is a defensive-minded coach, right? And on top of that, their defense is damn good. Their secondary is elite. You're right. I can't wait to see Ryan Williams go up against this. Whether he has a big game or not, think about the experience he's going to get as a true freshman going against these elite-type corners, right? So I like that matchup, and I would imagine there could be some sort of gadget play, or someone said that Kendrick Law is now a gadget player. I don't know about that, but you might have to open up the playbook, or you see some of these design quarterback runs that everybody's been talking about. Even Coach Luke Fickell said he didn't believe that Jalen Milroe would run the football as many times as he did. I would imagine. Let me ask you this: over under. So over under. Does Jalen Milroe rush, like literally designed runs for Milroe? Does he have, or at least, let's put it this way, rushing attempts for Jalen Milroe, more or less than 15 against Georgia? 15. Jarvis, what do you think? What do you think, Bama Mike? Go ahead.
I'm not going to put a number on it, but I think he's going to be our leading rusher in terms of attempts.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that.
In terms of attempts, I think he will have the most attempts. And that's just the playbook. That's the playbook. It's Milroe gets the ball, Ryan gets the ball, and then we mix in justice, and that's just how it is.
By the way, everyone's saying less than 15. Okay, 10? Maybe that's more realistic. Garrett's with me on more. All right. Ben, Mike, you want to make a final point, man, before I move to my next caller?
I remember, if I can make it quick, I just want to say Milroe's my guy. If Milroe is in New York for Heisman, in New York City, our team will be where it needs to be at the end. I love Ty. Don't get me wrong. I love Ty. I wanted Ty to win the job last year. If he got the snaps against USF instead of Buckner, it could have been Ty's team right now. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Ty Buckner, man, what a wild ride that was. Oh man,
and didn't get any snaps in that game. He got like the fourth quarter, and Ty Buckner played most of the game. I think that was Ty Simpson. It could have been Ty Simpson running this show right now. But Milroe has proved to me that he doesn't turn the ball over anymore. He used to throw all those silly interceptions. He had that one fumble on the goal line against USF, okay, but how many touchdowns has he accounted for? So, that was I just wanted to put that out there. I love Ty. He'll get his time in the garbage time, and he'll be, he'll probably be number one next year, but it's Milroe's team.
I appreciate you, Ben Mike. Thanks, man. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, roll Tide.
All right, roll Tide to you. That's Bama Mike. I appreciate the call. Next up, we got David from Louisiana. David, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. I got in late on the show. What I want to bring up is the offense. The offense has got to stay on the field a lot longer than what they have been lately. I'm all good for a 15-second touchdown or something like that, on 70-something yard touchdown pass. But the defense has gotten, the past few games, they've just been on the field way too long. And, I know a lot of it's penalties and stuff at times, that causes them to stay on the field a bit longer. But when the defense starts getting gassed, because we do have an elite defense. We have a really, really good defense, even though we got some, freshmen in the backfield and stuff like that, some young guys. But we got to sustain more time. That's one thing that Saban was big on, run the ball, then throw and, try to just wear down the other team's defense. And if we can't wear down their defense, especially when it comes to Georgia, I'm not saying Georgia is going to beat us by any chance, but anything's possible. Last year when we played UCF, that was a nail biter for everybody, even though we didn't have Milroe in the game, but it was just one of those things. The defense is, got to get off the field, and the offense has got to stay on there and just, take that time off the clock, take more time off the clock, pound the ball. We've got the running backs that can do it. And now we got our offensive line back, as far as I know. Everybody seems to be healthy that's supposed to be in the positions they need to be on the offensive line. And with the guys in there that are supposed to be there, looks like we can move the ball pretty good. But offense has just got to, stay out there a little bit longer, because these 3 and outs, that quick, it just wears the defense down. Now that we're getting into SEC play, it's a whole different realm of football. It's a whole different world, because now you're going against the elite of the elite when it comes to SEC.
Darren inside the comment box says, "Bull prediction: if Williams catches for over 150 yards this game, he'll win the Heisman over a freshman." That'd be wild. Charles, what's up, man?
That would be that would be crazy. That would be crazy that a 17-year-old, he won't even be 18-year-old when if he does win it. Yeah, he wouldn't even be 18 years old when they hand it to him. That'd be crazy.
I know, because his birthday's I think it's in February. The only reason I remember his birthday is because it was when Alabama beat Auburn on for basketball, right? Hey, Jack, what's up? I see you inside the comment box as well. DW, Charles, Zay, what's going on? I appreciate it. All right, David, as we get towards the end of the show, man, make a final comment, man.
I'm not going to predict the score.
Yeah, save that for next Friday.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to predict it, but I believe Bama's going to pull it out. I don't know if Georgia has a bye week this week or not, like we do.
They do.
They do?
Yes.
Okay, because, usually on a bye week, everybody gets healthy. Schemes start to change. But sometimes it seems like on bye weeks, players do get a little bit more laxed, than it does whenever they consistently, the following week, just, back-to-back games, because sometimes in bye weeks can bite you in the real quick. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like we're going to pull it out. I believe we're going to be great, and I believe Bama's going to win it. The way Georgia struggled against Kentucky, we'll see what happens. Other than that, I believe Bama can pull this out next weekend. Bama will jump everybody and take the top spot in the nation, and hopefully we can hold on to it and, win the SEC and move on to the playoffs.
All right, good stuff, man. Always love to hear from you. Thanks, David, for calling in, man. David from Louisiana. Roll Tide to you, man. Stay safe.
God bless everybody, and you too. God bless everybody. God bless America, and Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide to you. Stay safe, David, in Louisiana. Hey, I appreciate you guys being here. Big Chevy, what's up? 205 and Jack, you say what's good, Kyle? So it's funny because that's exactly. So I know you're young because that's how my daughter texts me. So the other day, my daughter forgot her Chromebook and she texts me in language that I don't even understand. And so I text her and I was like, slow down, write me a normal text. Oh man, it's wild. being a father, which I love. I appreciate you guys joining the show today. I hope you had a good time on the show. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your Thursday. Thank you very much for supporting me. I got a ton of super chats today, which I am greatly appreciate. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel, Bama Football on YouTube, every single day at 9 a.m. On Mondays, I'm at 10 a.m., so I can take you to Coach Kalen DeBoer. And, news as it happens on Bama Football on YouTube. The team is practicing today and tomorrow, so we will have coverage for you regarding, maybe a coach that we interview, or I might, put together or package something regarding, which coach we hear from or the players or something like that. So stay tuned. Yeah, me too, man. Jamal Scott, I'm a girl dad. So I got Caden, who's 15, and then Lacey, who's 11 going on 22 years old. So pray for me. Prayers up for all the parents out there. All right, one more time, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I appreciate you guys, all the positive vibes towards you. I'm manifesting good vibes your way. Prayers up to anybody who is struggling. If you're at home and you need a little boost, thoughts and prayers to you. Got this. Continue to grind. Continue to stay consistent. And, continue to just keep a positive mindset. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. I'm going to run downstairs, get ready. I'm going to go meet the fellas at lunch for Innisfree, and I'm going to come back and get right back to work on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Stay blessed. Stay safe.